Hi, it's Martha, and I realize that it has been a year since I updated you on my um, usage of the cinnamon or carbidopa levodopa, if you prefer to use the generic name, for my Cramps, Fasciculation syndrome, and Dystonia. So, knowing that it's been a year since I started the medication, I really have had a lot of improvements, and the only times when I had zero improvements on my condition would be when I would forget to take my medication. Just recently, I ran out of my medication, and it was a few days before I could get those filled. And going back to that condition of the pain that came with everything, being so tired, and just the ability to think, um, having all of that kind of rushing back and coming on, and I actually pushed through that for a few days before I actually managed to go pick up my medication. And I would honestly say that if I had that um, to compare everything to, of that's what it was before taking the medication and then taking the medication. As a matter of fact, when I picked up the prescription, I actually went ahead and took a dose, um, and was surprised by the fact that just that dosage of taking that one pill um, made my symptoms that I was having start to reverse almost immediately. Um, for example, I was feeling very sluggish because part of the cramps, fasciculation, and the dystonia um, causes the it causes you to be so tired because you just can't lift and move your muscles, um, and just pushing through that seems to aggravate it even more. Um, just taking that dose made it easier for me to move around, and by um, I would say probably about 4 or 5 hours after taking it, um, my symptoms had improved to the point that I'd forgotten how tired I was. I was no longer tired. I remember telling my son I really wanted to go home and go lay down and take a nap, because that's how exhausted I felt. And then a couple hours later, I'm thinking, I'm not even really tired. Why do I want to go home and lay down and go to sleep? That was just a huge difference. Um, Recently, I would say within the last month, I finally started pushing for improving my health. And so I started adding in exercise, and that was something that I wasn't able to do prior to all this. I was really concerned about how adding exercise was going to react, because I'd had so many issues before, that every time I started to exercise, the cramping sort of caused me not to stick with it, and I was tired. Um, I can actually say that, I managed to get up to 30 minutes of exercise on the treadmill. I really push in for that 3 times a week. Um, right now, since I've been sick for a week now, and so I'm just now getting over that. Um, but in that week, I wasn't really sure if what I was feeling was the absence of my medication, or if I had new symptoms that were coming on. So I actually went yesterday to go be checked for the flu, because I wasn't sure if the feeling of just the achiness was the medication being out of my system, or if it was a progression, and what I had last week was starting to progress into something a little more serious like the flu. So I'm kind of excited about the fact that I have this new mobility, and a lot of the negative feelings that I had at the beginning of my diagnosis has kind of gone away. So I'm really excited to see where everything's going to go from here. And I'm hoping that just managing to stick with the medication, and knowing that now I'm able to start to build back into a more active lifestyle, that's going to benefit me even more. So that is my 1 year update on my diagnosis. And I do hope that, if you are like me and you've struggled with dystonia, or you struggled with the Cramps fasciculation syndrome that maybe led to the dystonia, which that's basically what led to mine, was the fact that I had the Cramps fasciculation syndrome, and then the dystonia was due to the constant flooding of my nervous system of the chemical that makes the muscles move, and then that, there's just no cutoff. It's like the floodgates are open. There's no way to close them. So if that is part of maybe an issue that you have, I would love to talk about that. Also, if I don't know how many of you, if you take the carbidopa levodopa, have you noticed the fact that you can no longer take certain medications? Like, for example, for me taking the carbidopa levodopa, I can't take any type of pain reliever that has morphine in it, any kind of derivative. So like the hydrocodone, anything like that. I have such a severe reaction from it, and even taking, oh goodness, I was trying to think of the name of the medication. Claritin. The Claritin D, I actually took some Claritin with a decongestant in it, and it sent me to the hospital with just extreme numbness. And I'd be interested to find out if any of my viewers may have had something similar. I just really want to know, is this something that happens with a lot of people who are on that medication? Because that doesn't seem to be something that is widely known of, you can no longer take these certain things because you're taking the carbidopa levodopa, that maybe people are aware of that, or that they're not aware of that, of the side effects of taking those two different things together. So, if that is, leave me a comment down below. Be sure to like my videos and subscribe to my channel. I do post these videos as well as some of my crafting videos, because crafting is my go-to way of relaxation, so I actually enjoy doing those. But I'll just sign off. Bye.